So I want to talk about society and culture as well, as like an idea in the mind of human beings. So more and more I'm disconnecting from society and culture. The reason is because it's the very thing that has caused me to suffer so much in life. And, over time I see more and more just how it is causing suffering, just how it is promoting ignorance and falsehood and bullshit and a really contracted, narrow way of looking. It's not helpful, it's not useful. I mean, of course there are helpful and useful things in society and culture. I mean, like what defines society? What do I mean by that? So I don't know, obviously there are things like language that are helpful, but at the same time, it's a double-edged sword. You can use language for good or you can use it for bad. So there are a lot of things like that in society, but basically, the other thing is that we think this society is real. We think it's a solid thing. But think of other animals besides human beings. Obviously they'd have a sort of society in their own way, but it's not as sort of it's a more natural thing. We've got more of an artificial thing going on because we've got this sort of cognitive intellect, this conceptualization, this conceptual mind that animals, unlike us, don't really have. And so, what's natural for us, these fucking evolved kind of apes, what's natural for us is suppressed by society and culture. A lot of the things that we are naturally drawn to that this biological organism needs to do is suppressed by culture and society. But anyway, the thing is that if you want to find out what's true, if you want to know who you are, you have to be in a very long period of time where you say, fuck this off, I'm not going to indulge and engage in this. Because if you want to know what's true, only you can know that. No one can tell you what's true. You see, that's the very thing that is fucking you up, is that you're thinking about all this shit and you're like, oh, what's true? How should I live my life? And you go into science or psychology or culture or whatever you go to. But these are all stories upon stories upon stories, fabrications on fabrications. And, you know, you're starting, your very foundation, your starting point is on something that isn't yours, something that you were just given to. And so this is what you've got to fucking chip away. You've got to fucking bulldoze out of your life, this very foundation of giving your own sovereignty up, giving your own authority to other people. You know, it's like, oh, psychology said this, philosophy said this, science said this, so fucking what? Doesn't matter. Look around you. Do you see many happy people? Do you see scientists that are happy, philosophers that are happy, psychologists that are happy? Not really. Even spiritual sages, self-proclaimed spiritual sages and shit. Are they happy, or are they just putting on a show of happiness? You know, it's no one in this world seems to really be genuinely happy and at peace and know, you know, a good way to live. So why would you give away your own sovereignty to these people? Yeah, it sounds right. It sounds like, oh, this... And I mean, like, take what you want from it. Like, you read some philosophy quote or some psychological thing or some scientific thing, and, you know, it's interesting. Like, it's interesting. But is it helpful? Is it useful? Or are you just using that to create some story about yourself and about reality that is just going to inevitably cause you to suffer? So I don't, you know, I've always sensed something wrong with society, and it's very hard interacting with people now because it's hard to interact on a existence to existence basis or a human to human basis. 'Cause most of the time it's a social or cultural basis that you're interacting on, and I can't keep up with that because I'm distancing myself more and more from it. You know, I don't read the news. I don't know what's going on in politics. I don't care about the new TV show or movies that are coming out. And I'm not saying that this is wrong. Like, if you're interested in politics or the new scientific method that's coming out, or the new movie that's coming out, like, if you're interested in that, sure. But what I'm trying to say is that most of us are actually trapped in that. And what I'm saying is you've got to first break out of that, come back to your own authority and sovereignty. And once you've actually gathered that and you've actually made that foundation, and it's fucking... you can't fucking destroy that. Once you've fucking built that solid foundation, then come back to politics and science and psychology and the media and all that, because you will be at peace with yourself. You will know what's true, and you won't get pushed around as much as you do now when you're, you know. So it's like, sure, if you're into science and politics and philosophy, whatever fucking else you're into, the new movie, the new food, like, that's all well and good, but are you trapped in it? Are you believing in these stories that people are feeding you? And some people might say, so, like, what stories? Like science? You think of science as a story, a narrative, a mental construct that's not real? What about philosophy and psychology? Are these not, like, hard, foundational things, like solid things that are real? Like, is science not real? Is evolution not real? Think for yourself. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that science is legit or not. I'm not saying that philosophy is legit or not. All I'm saying is that think for yourself. Don't just assume that you know what's true. Don't just assume that you know what's real. Don't assume what you know is real, because question everything. Question everything. I mean, the thing is like, does it matter if science is true or not? Does it matter if religion is true or not? Does it matter if psychology is true or not? Does it matter if any of your beliefs are true or not? When the fact of the matter is that you're gonna die, which means all of science will cease to exist. All of any fucking religion and ideology will cease to exist. All your spiritual beliefs and fucking ideas of enlightenment are gonna cease to exist, because you are gonna be gone, and when you're gone, you're taking the whole world with you. There's gonna be no one. Science exists within this dream state. Science is a very good way to describe the dream of reality. But it's a dream, and a dream is not solid, is not stable. A dream is not stable. A dream dies. And what I mean by dream is that you're gonna die and everything's gonna be gone, including science. So why does it even matter, you know? And like, again, I'm saying it's like, if you're interested in science, then good. I mean, it's like, it's an interesting thing. It's a very, you know, I mean, you're in this fucking dream state to enjoy it. You're in this world to enjoy it. But all I'm saying is that be in the world, but not of the world. Because if you're of the world, you're trapped. You're not free. And this is all about freedom. I'm just talking about freedom here. It's all about freedom. We all want freedom. But this freedom I'm talking about is not a political freedom or a social freedom or a cultural freedom. It's an individual freedom. It's a freedom from everything. You see, you can't... If you put the blame on things outside of yourself, you're never going to be free. If you think the world around you is putting shackles on yourself, is tying you up in chains, you're never going to be free. You're only going to be free once you realize that these chains around you are not locked up, and you have the freedom to shake them off and get up and walk away. You've locked yourself up. You're the only one that can free yourself. And the only way, if you want to free up, if you want to free everyone else, if you want to free society, and if you want to fucking change the world and make it a better place, that can only start if you fucking really free yourself genuinely and at the deepest level. There's a quote by Ramana Maharshi, which I'm not sure how it goes, but it's something along the lines of trying to change the world without changing yourself is like trying to cover the whole world with leather so you don't step on anything spiky. when it's better instead to just wear shoes. It's better for everyone to just cover their own feet with leather, cover their own feet with shoes. Instead of you individually trying to cover the whole world in leather so you don't step on anything, it's a lot easier for you to just put on shoes. But then you'll think, oh, but what about other people? They're going to be stepping on all this spiky shit and they're going to be suffering. Well, it's up to them to fucking put on some shoes, you know? Come back to yourself. Free yourself. And, you know, if you want to spread a message, don't be like, you've got to be doing this and doing that if you want to be free. No, just say to them, think for yourself, free yourself. So this whole, anyway, like this, whole like social and cultural thing is, it's very hard to interact with people now because they're all interacting on a level of social and cultural things which have no interest in me anymore, you know, and also they're people are interacting on the level of good and bad and right and wrong when I don't see that much anymore. It just frustrates me that the people think this, you know. You know, it's just fucked up that, because I can interact with one person talking about some topic and they're saying this is wrong, and then I can interact with somebody else talking about the same topic and saying this is right. And so, like, what am I supposed to do, you know what I mean? Because I don't have an opinion on the matter. I don't see things as right and wrong so much. Things just are the way that they are. I'm not opposed to anyone. Although I do just, you know, I have no interest in it. It's boring to me. It's boring to me to listen to people, what they think is right and wrong, and with so much conviction. It's like, you're just a tiny little human. How do you know what's right and wrong? There is no right and wrong. Especially when you can put this side-to-side comparison of someone who thinks that this thing is right and someone who thinks the same thing is wrong. It's quite clear to me that it doesn't matter then, does it? You know? Just because you think something's right doesn't mean it is right. Just because you think something's wrong doesn't mean it is wrong. It's just your own fucking little monkey mind thinking shit. Don't believe your fucking thoughts. You aren't your thoughts. Your thoughts are just a fucking collection of predetermined conditions. I mean, take this example of this Chris Rock and Will Smith incident of this fucking slap. You know, like, I'm not interested in that shit at all, but of course I get bombarded with it if I'm like on the internet or if I'm with people, you know, I'm gonna know about it because it's like, it's such a big fucking thing. Oh my God. Like, so what? Someone punched someone. You see that in nature all the time. You see kangaroos fighting. You see monkeys fighting. We don't make a whole big news article on it, you know. It's because we're fabricating this thing called society, and we're fabricating this thing called celebrities. We're fabricating all these stories around these things. And so we put importance on these things when actually there is none of this importance and significance exists in reality. It's all coming from the mind, and it's a collective hallucination we're all believing in. I mean, think of like a good way to watch the news is to think about it like it's like really in the past. You know, when you watch something on the news and it's like something new, it's like, oh my god, fuck, this is happening. If you detach from it, if you imagine yourself far, far in the future and you're watching this as like a pre-recorded thing on YouTube or whatever, it's not as big as you think it is. You know, history repeats itself, but nature repeats itself on and on and on. You know, the same things come up again and again and again, but we think they're new, but it's the same shit, you know? Or another way is to imagine that you're on like an alien planet watching the news from Earth, from this other planet, you know? You want that detached perspective because you're gonna die. It's all gonna go. None of it will matter. See, everyone wants to feed you their own beliefs on what matters, what's important, and you believe in it, you suck it up. You got to think for yourself. What do you think's important? What do you think matters? And you might find that nothing is. But that's a freeing thing. That's not some nihilistic thing. If nothing matters, if nothing has importance, it frees you up to actually to be in tune with nature. And nature's natural tendency is to love. And that's something that people all have a significance and importance on, is that love, you know, family and loved ones close to them. But if you're coming from the mind of that, like, oh, I've got to love my family and my friends and all that, this is some duty I have to do. If you're coming from that viewpoint, it's never going to work. If you ditch all importance and significance and meaning, you're just naturally going to want to love. You're just naturally going to want to share and be with people and love other people as yourself. So don't necessarily think that meaninglessness is negative. It can be very positive.